Hello, hope you're doing great. This is Maria Panir Rajan, your friendly software developer. And in this video, we're going to talk about tuples and sets. Now, in a previous video, we have already talked about lists, right? So how you can, sequentially store a bunch of data and you can access them by means of using index numbers. So basically, a tuple is just like a list, but the values that you store on a tuple cannot be changed. And since the values that you store on a tuple cannot be changed, we call this type of data structure as an immutable data structure, as in it cannot be changed. All right, so where would you use this tuple data structure? So let's say you're creating, some kind of a diet app, all right, which basically keeps track of the number of calories your user consumes for 5 consecutive days. So for your diet app, the number of calories, the value of the calories per each day is important, right? And once the calorie count for each day has been entered into your app, you wouldn't want the values to change when your application is running. So this particular scenario would be a good place to make use of the tuple data structure instead of a list. So we already know this is how you would store this particular piece of data 500, 600, 800, 500, 600, as a list. Now a list is a mutable data structure. That is, the values that you have stored, like in a list, can be changed. So if we want to change the value of the first day's calorie count, we can easily do that, right? Then nothing is stopping us from, saying diet track of 0 equal to 1500, right? So and if we now say diet track, so the first value has been changed. Now if this is the functionality that you're going for, yes, by all means keep using a list. But if you want to have the data to be immutable, as in not changeable, then instead of making use of a list, make use of a tuple. So let's do the same thing with a tuple right now. So I'll just create another variable called diet track underscore t. So as you can see, the only syntax difference between creating a list and a tuple is the type of braces that I used. So instead of making use of the square brackets, just by making use of this curved brackets, we get to create a tuple, right? So we can even verify that. We can just say type of our diet track is a tuple. All right. So since this particular data structure now is a tuple, if we try to change any of its value, just as how we try to do here, if if we try to change the first value from 500 to 1500, Python's interpreter wouldn't allow us to do that, because it says the tuple object does not support item assignment. So that's the nature of a tuple data structure itself. So this tuple data structure is really handy whenever you want to store data that you don't want to be changed during the runtime of your application. And just like any other Python object, the tuple object also has a couple of inbuilt functionalities that are attached to it. So you can see that by saying dir of diet track underscore t. So the only two methods that it actually gives us are the count and the index. So this diet track, just keep in mind that it is just like a list, right? So you can have repeating values, right? So it doesn't stop you from having repeated values. So even in our case, we have 500 two times and 600 two times. So it does allow you to have repeating values. It just doesn't allow you to change any of the values. We can even find out how many times a particular value is present in our tuple. So we can do that by means of using the count function. If we just say diet track dot count, let's say 600, it will return to us how many times this particular value is present in our tuple data structure. And since a tuple operates just like a list, to access any data from a tuple, we just make use of the index. If we, let's say for example, want to know at which index the value 800 is present, we can just say diet track dot index and give the value 800. By doing so, it returns to us the index number at which this particular value 800 is present in the tuple data structure. And since we have the index number, we can just say 2. So see, now for accessing the data, we are still using the square brackets, just like how we do, when we use a list, right? So now when we say dir track underscore t of index 2, it does return us the value that is present in the index 2. So it does return to us the value. It just doesn't allow us to assign or modify any value that is already present inside a tuple. So the next data structure that we're going to see is called a set. Now a set data structure is a collection of hashed values. So during our school days, we would have made use of these Venn diagrams, right? So when you have two set of data to know, what is the intersection between those two, and like to find out the union between those two and all. So like using the sets, we get to do those intersection and union operations, out of the box. For example, let's say you want to keep track of the favorite ice cream flavors that your friends like. Let's say, like Tom likes to have vanilla, strawberry, and butterscotch, and Ramya likes to have chocolate, pista, and vanilla. Now, when you go out, you want to know, like what is the flavor that both of your friends would love to have. So you can see that vanilla is the value that is present in both these sets. So if you were to draw a Venn diagram from these two set of data, it will look something like this, right? Basically, vanilla is the only flavor that both Tom and Ramya like. So it is basically the intersecting value for these two set of data. So to create a set, all we need to do is make use of the set inbuilt function that is present in Python and give to it a list of data as an argument. Now we have, this particular data structure as a set. So let's just validate the type of this data structure by using the type function. So we can see that it is a set. And similarly, now we have the set for Ramya. So now we have Tom's and Ramya's favorite ice cream flavors, right? So now to find out what is the flavor that both Tom and Ramya likes, we can make use of the inbuilt functionalities that sets offer us. Now, as you must have become very familiar with the dir function, so let's make use of that to find out, like what are the functionalities that are available to us with the set data structure. So we can see that, like it has got a bunch of functionalities. So you can see that it has got difference, it's got, like intersection, is subset. So these are all the different functionalities that you would make use of when you're, doing a Venn diagram, right? You want to know if this is a subset of the main set, or if, like what is the intersection value and what is the, union of these two different set data. For our case, we are interested in the intersection function. So let's make use of that. So Tom dot intersection Ramya, right? So because both Tom and Ramya are sets, we are able to do this. Now by pressing enter, now we can see that the Python interpreter has returned to us the value vanilla, because vanilla is the value that is present in both Tom and in Ramya. Now because the values of a set are like unique, it is lot of time used to remove duplicate values present in a list. For example, we have a simple list here, right? So we have a list called ice cream flavors, which has strawberry, vanilla, pista, and vanilla. See, now like the value vanilla is present twice in this particular list. Just to quickly remove the duplicate values from a list, we just convert the list to a set, to remove all the duplicate values, and then once again we just convert the set to a list. So the way we would do it is like this. So now we are just passing the ice cream flavors list, which has these duplicate values, as the argument to create a set. By doing this, we know that it will remove the duplicate values. So we have only strawberry, vanilla, and pista. The duplicate values have been removed. Now we can just convert this back to a list. Now basically we are just casting it back to becoming a list. By doing this, now we have a list of unique values. So this is just a quick, like a hack, if you will. So the downside to this is, you might lose the sequence in which your original list was. If the sequence in which the data stored in your list is important to you, then this hack doesn't make sense. But otherwise, if you just want a quick way to remove duplicates from your list, cast your list to becoming a set, cast that particular set to becoming a list, and you get your list back, which is having only unique values. I hope this video was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!